Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
My Social Security payroll contribution will go up, as will Donald's, assuming he can't figure out how to get out of it. But what we want to do is to replenish the Social Security Trust Fund.
Live from an undisclosed location.
From everything I see, has no respect for this person.
Well, that's because he'd rather have a puppet as president of the United States.
No puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
It's pretty clear you won't admit that the Russians.
Unchained and unstoppable.
What the District of Columbia was trying to do was to protect toddlers from guns. And so they wanted people with guns to safely store them. And the court didn't accept that reasonable regulation, but they've accepted many others. So I see no conflict between saving people's lives and defending the Second Amendment.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
And what's really important about WikiLeaks is that the Russian government has engaged in espionage against Americans. They have hacked American websites, American accounts of private people.
That was a great pivot off the fact that you want open borders, okay? How did we get onto Putin?
Hold on. Wait. Hold on, folks.
Who do you love? Howie Carr.
Specific question went to pay for play. Do you want to talk about that?
But there is no evidence. But there is a lot of evidence about the very good work
and it's a criminal enterprise, and so many people know it. It's a criminal enterprise.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Tearing enterprise. It's more formal and official. That's what they actually say in the federal indictments. He operated his office. It's always a Democrat, almost always a Democrat congressman who's, when he's indicted, they say the first sentence of the indictment says that he operated his office as a racketeering enterprise. It's a good word, racketeering, but criminal enterprise, racketeering enterprise. It's the same thing. It's the Clinton Foundation. In other words, we're going to be talking a lot about this hour about the debate last evening, and as you know, they're still trying to blast Donald Trump for talking about the rigged election returns. Now I'm watching on the monitor here. I didn't even know this guy was still alive. Willie Brown, the former mayor of San Francisco, and he was also, I think, the Speaker of the California Assembly. He's got to be about 150 years old. But he's back, and now he's shocked. He is shocked that Donald Trump would say these things. That he would say that perhaps that somebody was not going to win an election. It's kind of, what is Willie Brown's relationship, do you think, with former President Jimmy Carter? As Jimmy Carter would never, ever challenge the results of any sacrosanct election returns here in the United States of America, would he? Cut 13.
I'm wondering, have we had a legitimately elected Republican president since Dwight Eisenhower?
Well, I think so. I wouldn't want to comment on that. That's pretty gross. But yeah, I think we've had a legitimate elected president. I don't think that George W. Bush won the election in 2000 against Al Gore, because I think he probably lost Florida and also that nationwide.
Why is that not a big deal? Do we have any Al Gore? Al Gore didn't accept the results of the 2000 election for a long time. I mean, remember the bumper stickers? They went from Gore Lieberman to sore loser man. Remember that one? Do we have Al Gore? Any Al Gore cuts here? Nope.
How are you all today? I don't really have an opening statement. If you want to ask any questions, feel free.
Vice President, sir, is this the last battleground, sir? If you lose at the Supreme Court of Florida, will you concede?
Well, the effort I have underway is simply to make sure that all the votes are counted, and when the issues that are now being considered in the Florida Supreme Court are decided, that'll be an important point. But I don't want to speculate on what the Florida Supreme Court will do.
But that was then, and this is now. And Jimmy Carter's a Democrat, and Al Gore's a Democrat, and Hillary Clinton's a Democrat when she said that in 2002 that Bush was not elected, he was selected. And all those moonbats, there had to be thousands upon thousands upon thousands of them around the country with their bumper stickers in 2004 that said, "Reid defeat Bush." And then, of course, they thought that they had won the election in 2004, and to this day, I know people that know John Kerry. Although, of course, we're buddies. We're drinking buddies at the Red Hat way back when. Yeah, he told me about it. He has dreams about Vietnam. Did you know that?
That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard.
I'm sure I'm the only person he's ever told that to. He thinks the election was stolen from him in 2004 in Ohio. I mentioned this earlier in the show, but even if he had won Ohio, say by 1,000 votes in 2004, and he had somehow prevailed, and by the way, in John Kerry terms, I lost the Electoral College match, 252 to 286.
Manny Ortez.
But even if he had won Ohio by 1,000 or 2,000 votes, he still would have lost the popular vote nationwide by 3 million votes. He didn't come that close to George W. Bush. But again, George W. Bush losing the popular vote in 2000, even if he won the Electoral College, which he did, that made him an illegitimate president. But had John Kerry lost the electoral vote, the popular vote by 3 million, that wouldn't have mattered, because the Constitution says it's all about the Electoral College. You understand this? I mean, this is the way it works. They're different rules for Democrats and Republicans. And you want another indication? We're getting jaded by all the WikiLeaks that are coming out, and so sometimes we overlook really funny things here. And you got to just take everything and with a grain of salt, and try to enjoy these things. So this is a WikiLeaks. I don't know where these came from exactly, but they came out today. This was from the 2008 campaign, Barack Obama. There's a guy named Mike Froman who is sending him over a list of people, potential candidates for the administration. This is before he's been elected. Following up on your conversations with John over the weekend, attached are 2 documents. A list of African-American, Latino, and Asian-American candidates divided between cabinet/deputy and under/assistant/deputy assistant secretary levels, as well as lists of senior Native Americans, Arab/Muslim Americans, and disabled Americans. Now, I have a lot of questions about this. Was at this point, was Elizabeth Warren was she still a Native American? I believe she was. Now we know she's Okie down to her toes. She's gone from she was a white person, a Caucasian, a melanin-impaired female before she became a Native American, before she became Okie down to her toes again. I think in 2008 she was still a Native American.
She was on the faculty list of women of color.
Yes, she was Harvard University's first woman, or at least the law school's first woman of color.
Ha, 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 ha.
Then they have another list here, Arab/Muslim Americans. Now, there are a lot of Arab Americans who happen to be Christians, Maronite Christians. Until fairly recently, the majority of Arab Americans in this country were Christians. Then you have Druze. Then you have Yazidis. Now, are they covered under this Arab/Muslim Americans, or do they? If you're a Christian Arab, do you get the affirmative action kiss from the Democrats? And they also refer to disabled Americans. I'd say that's a microaggression right there, isn't it? I mean, I know it's 2008. Maybe they weren't differently abled then. Disabled Americans, and then here's even more amusing. A list, again, this is an email to Barack Obama, a list of women similarly divided between candidates for cabinet/deputy and other senior level positions. A list of women. Is this a binder full of women? Remember when Mitt Romney said he had binders full of women, and it was the worst thing that anyone had ever said. Binders full of women. It just showed what a sexist dog he was. Just like when Mitt Romney referred to a tar baby one time. Remember that? That was racist. When John Kerry referred to a tar baby, nothing to see here, folks.
Big tar baby out there.
It was he didn't even have to apologize for the botched joke.
Everybody knows I botched a joke.
He botched a joke. Yes. All right. 1-844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. By the way, one more thing here. This is in case we're not in high dudgeon enough about Donald Trump saying he was going to look at the election results before he conceded, if indeed he loses. We also have him. He also made. I guess this is an anti-Mexican remark here again. Give us cut 23.
But we have some bad hombres here, and we're going to get them out.
Bad hombres.
Bad hombres.
And we also have cut number 21 for the misogynist statement du jour from Donald Trump.
My Social Security payroll contribution will go up, as will Donald's, assuming he can't figure out how to get out of it. But what we want to do is to replenish the Social Security Trust Fund.
What a bad man he is. What a very, very bad man.
Bad hombres.
Bad hombres. The guy was getting Cisco Kid vibes when he said that. 1-844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
That's right, Howie Carr.